What's up everybody, Steven Z Killer here. It's time to bring you a new reaction video. But before that, 75% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed. This means two things. You're either brand new to the channel or returning. And I do hope that this video gets you to hit that subscribe button today. Last year, we didn't hit our goal of 400,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. We almost got there, and we were so close to 100,000 new subscribers in that year. But I still need more people to join and subscribe to get my channel to hit 1 million subscribers. This upcoming year, the new goal is 500,000 subscribers, and I need you to hit that subscribe button today so we can hit it this year. I know we can do it. What's up everybody, Steven Z Killer here bringing another reaction, and today we're checking out another alternate universe infection video. So we just recently watched the one where what if Pennywise turned good, and that video actually did pretty well, especially since there's a lot of talk about the most recent It TV series. So I'm looking forward to checking out more from this channel. Of course, you guys show the support. I bring this channel back with some more reactions whenever new videos drop. And of course, if there's older ones I need to check out, you can inform me down below what you guys want me to watch in the future by commenting down below or posting our reaction idea section. Now today, one of the things I absolutely love checking out on this channel are some of the infection AUs that involve Sonic. And that was kind of the starting point. Actually, no. The first video I ever watched was the Mario Madness one, but afterwards was the Sonic infection stuff. And we have another new one. This is an interesting one called Withering Rose Sonic Infection AU Zombie Amy. And from when I saw the thumbnail, Amy not looking so good. So this is going to be an interesting one that involves Amy the most. And I'm just intrigued. This dropped 20 hours ago, has already over 100,000 views. And if you guys haven't seen this yourself, make sure to show your support by subscribing today, liking the original video, and doing all that good stuff. And of course, if there's other Sonic related videos you want me to react to, comment down below. Outside of this channel, animation, music videos, and all that good stuff. Sonic does pretty well on the channel, and you guys show the support, and I always will bring it back. Anyways, let's get into this video, and also check out the video before this one. It has a animated pilot that a lot of you guys have been asking me to check out. Make sure to go check out that video, because there's a ton of people who were saying yesterday to check out that video. So just in case you didn't get, because sometimes YouTube doesn't notify everyone, if you didn't get that notification, make sure to check that out after this video. Anyways, let's get into this video and enjoy it right now.
While scrolling on Twitter, I found an interesting AU called Withered Rose, created by Yanduri-chan. And while it's definitely still in the early stages, I really think this one has some great potential, and the artwork really caught my attention, so I wanted to share it with you guys. Now, this AU think this one has
off the bat, god damn! Holy shit, this is going to be a gory one. I like it.
Some great potential, and the artwork really caught my attention, so I wanted to share it with you guys. Now, this AU starts off with Tails and Sonic screaming for Amy to wake up, and judging by the wounds on her face and her nearly lifeless eyes, we can assume that maybe she was attacked by a badnik, but when you actually look at the wounds, it almost seems more like she was attacked by an animal. And we see even more evidence of this when we look at her legs and her arms almost being severed as well. But even with all
interesting.
this damage, Amy is still able to lift her body up, saying that she feels fine, although Tails and Sonic are pleading for her to stay down. And now from this angle where she's sitting,
oh, so it's going to be kind of one of those situations where, story-wise, Amy is fully zombified, but she's completely conscious. Okay.
sitting up, we can actually see the chunk of her arm missing. And when I looked on Twitter,
it's dangling by pieces of flesh and bone. There's barely anything holding that arm up.
I found this image, and it shows a piece of her side missing, and like a piece of her leg was bitten down to the bone. And honestly, the wounds like this, you would expect somebody to just be dead. So the fact that she's sitting up is kind of a big deal. In the next panel, we see that they're able to get her wrapped up, and they also have an IV in her arm to get some fluids back into her because I'm sure she lost a ton of blood. And based on her eyes here, I would say that she actually looks a lot more lively. But as Tails points out, after the damage that Amy just suffered, she shouldn't even be able to sit up, let alone be this happy and chipper. And you also know something is wrong because Sonic is actually sitting here kind of quiet for a moment. But
Oh wow, that face. Tails completely right. Amy, for a second there, I thought you were. Damn. Seeing Amy in that condition really did get to Sonic. The way they drew Sonic is a good representation of like completely freaked out.
eventually, he does jump in and he tells Amy that she was basically dead or very close to death. But Amy doesn't seem to be bothered by it, being more worried about getting some new clothes because hers are all cut up from whatever the attack was. Now, as she's walking out, we see Tails tries to stop her so that he can actually run a few tests to make sure everything is okay. But she begs him to take a break because she's been in his lab for hours, she's hungry, and basically just wanting to get some sunlight. And with the backing of Sonic, she's able to go out and actually take a quick break. And even though Sonic puts on a smile here, once the door closes behind her, you can tell he's definitely worried about her. And this part really stands out for me. He reiterates behind her.
I mean, you saw her yourself. Yeah, they know something. She should be dead. Based off of that wound in her stomach region, the chunk of her leg that was ripped off, the fact that her arm was completely only being held up by muscle tendons and a little bit of bone. Most of that was gone. I think the same happened with the other arm. So much blood loss.
You can tell he's definitely worried about her. And this part really stands out for me. He reiterates that Amy was half dead not too long ago, and then she suddenly got back up as if nothing had happened. He even points out that her heart monitor was moving slowly, and while I'm not a doctor, if the heart is beating too slowly, that means that it won't actually be able to get the necessary blood to vital organs. And considering that this AU was originally called It's Still
Oh no. Oh no.
Me, and had this image of like a drooling Amy Rose with stitches all over her body. And as you can see, she's reaching for Sonic, trying to get him to realize that she's still like the real her. Now, while editing this video, I wanted to take a second to talk about this image because I do realize that it looks a little bit freaked out, but I don't think that is the intention. I know it's very suggestive with Amy like looking at Sonic this way. She's kind of drooling. She has her hand on his chest. But if you just look at his face, this isn't supposed to be anything sexual. And even when you think back to the
it's twisted to look a little sexual, but at the same time, it's like a freaking freak out moment for Sonic probably overall.
Original series, while Amy does have feelings for Sonic, he never actually reciprocated those feelings. And I don't think it's going to be any different here.
I've been looking all over for you! This isn't a kissing booth!
Unless this is taking place in the Boom Sonic universe. But as I continue explaining kind of what's going on in this AU, I think this picture will make more sense, but I just wanted to jump in just in case anybody was getting the wrong idea. Anyway, back to the video. But now this is really starting to make sense because I think she was able to get back up because she did actually die, but now she's come back as a zombie, which explains the hashtags on Twitter that says zombie. And if all that is true, we know that adrenaline isn't what's keeping Amy up and moving around, but rather like some undying fortitude.
The question is what's going to happen when, like, I know her being dead, her nerves and everything, but eventually rigor mortis is going to kick in and it's going to be harder and harder for her to move around.
Or something. What I'm more curious about is who could have turned her into a zombie though, because
True, yeah.
I'm thinking that this isn't Eggman, because if it was him, he would have done something like with the metal virus, basically using those nanobots.
Oh, actually, speaking of the metal virus, people have been asking me. I need to probably sit down and look up that video that like has the entire series of the metal virus stuff, voice acted. I talked about this when I did the reaction to the metal virus video, and I never did sit down and watch that. At some point I will try to do that maybe before the end of this year, so stay tuned for that video at some point.
To turn Mobians and just other creatures into zombie-like robots. And even if he would have done something differently, it would have had something to do with technology, because that's just how Eggman is. In the next chapter, we see Amy is out walking in the woods and she has that dead-eyed stare again. And now that she's alone, she finally admits that her body was so messed up that she should be dead for sure. But being out in nature with the flickies seemed to put her mind at ease, and one even lands on her finger like she's some type of Disney princess.
feel like she's about to eat one of the birds.
And then with her little friend in tow, she goes to find a apple tree nearby. Now, after some time passes, Sonic realizes that Amy isn't back, so he tells Tails that he's going to go check on her. And with that, he dashes out of the lab to see if he can actually
Something tells me she's eating, not an apple.
pick up her trail. And with his speed, it doesn't take him too long to find her kneeling in front of this tree, seemingly eating apples. But once he gets close to her, something freaks him out and his eyes go wide. And what we see is that Amy is not eating an apple, but
I fucking knew it! I knew that was coming.
rather she's munching on a flicky. And she asks Sonic if he wants one because they are fresh and juicy.
Good and tasty?
And it really seems like Amy doesn't even realize what she's doing here, because as Sonic starts to puke in his hand, Amy looks genuinely confused. And when she reaches out to Sonic with this bloody hand, he slaps it away, absolutely terrified of her. And it's at this point that Amy finally realized that she's covered in blood. And this makes her start to tremble because she finally understands that she may not be normal anymore. And now that whatever trance that she was in has broken, she can see the flicky that she had been munching on, and she is disgusted with herself. Now, back over in the lab, we see that Amy is resting again, and now she looks utterly defeated. Sonic is also feeling bad now because he thinks he could have reacted to the situation a bit better instead of freaking.
It was a shock value thing. Like, you don't know how you're going to react when it comes to something that fucking holy. Like, walking over to somebody thinking they're just having a fucking munch on an apple, and they turn around, they're fucking consuming the insides of a little critter like that.
Out. Especially since he realized that Amy wasn't even aware of what she was doing. And seeing that this situation is starting to spiral, Tails calls for some backup. And we see that he reached out to Knuckles, Shadow, and Rouge. And while that whole team is obviously great, I'm really happy to see Rouge here, because if this AU goes really bad, brute force isn't going to be enough. So having like a spy on the team is going to be very valuable, because they're definitely going to need somebody to gather information about what may be going on in this world, and Rouge is kind of all about intel gathering. Now, something that does kind of worry me about this AU is that if all the zombies are kind of like how Amy is, I think it's going to be very hard for our heroes to actually fight against them. What I mean by this is Amy actually goes in and out of like consciousness. As we saw here, she literally went blank and then just started devouring these flickies. But once Sonic came up to her and started speaking to her, she was able to come back to her regular self. And I think that there's more than enough evidence to kind of let us know that that wasn't her pretending or faking. She really just didn't know what she was doing. And I think if that's the case moving forward, Sonic and Knuckles are definitely not going to be able to take out their own friends, or any other Mobian for that matter, if we're being honest. Shadow is kind of hit or miss, because we remember as soon as he saw all those Mobians get affected.
I hate when that thing pops up. By the way, if you ever wonder what the hell that is, it's just a software I have on my PC that cleans my computer sometimes.
Being honest. Shadow is kind of hit or miss, because we remember as soon as he saw all those Mobians get affected in the metal virus, he just started knocking them out.
The doctor's metal virus can't infect the ultimate life form!
But I think the fact that Sonic was here watching over Amy, not even being able to sleep because he felt so bad about the way that he just reacted to her, means that he's definitely not going to be able to put down a zombie Amy if it really comes down to that. And I'm excited to see how this next part plays out, because if you look in this panel here, she has that same kind of dead-eye stare that she had right before she started eating the flicky. So I'm wondering if in the next chapter, she's actually going to try to attack somebody in this little lab. And with so many of her friends all in one place, it could be anybody. But if I had to put my money on one, I would say that it's definitely going to be Tails. But for now, that's just my theory of what's going to happen. I'm excited to see how this goes moving forward, because this AU could either be like an infection AU, it could be a more traditional horror AU. And I'm also excited to see what role Eggman is going to play here. Because as I said
also, like a little development of what caused Amy to be that fucked up, that damaged, and infected her
earlier, I don't think that he caused this virus, and that means that he's probably going to be a big part in helping cure it. If this is anything like some of the other Sonic Infection AUs, usually good guy, bad guy, doesn't matter, they all have to come together and kind of help, or the world is just going to end. I'll make sure to cover this AU again after a couple more parts come out. Make sure you go follow this creator over on Twitter and Instagram. And if you enjoyed this video, check out this video on the screen here. Subscribe to Data Become a member of the Earth Force, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Peace, peace.
That was an interesting one. I will definitely look forward to another episode of this one whenever there's more development on this AU. Awesome. It is different than the standard infection AU. It's so far only one individual We don't know if there's going to be more infected, and we still don't know who caused this damage. Like, for Amy to look like this,
almost been severed as well. But even with all this
like all that damage and everything,
Amy is still able.
we do not know who did this. I'm intrigued on that too. So, anyways, stay tuned for more in the future. If you guys have other suggestions for Sonic reactions, animations, lore, videos, other stuff. Also, I need to go back and watch the, I think he had it linked. Like I said, I'm going to try to watch that Metalverse stuff completely dubbed, because he went through it, but he never like showed everything that happened. And I did say I was going to probably watch that at some point. And I still get a couple comments every so often asking me when I was going to do that. So this video kind of reminded me about that. So I'm going to try to have it at some point during this upcoming December. So stay tuned for that. And hope you guys enjoyed this one. Stay tuned for more reactions. Check out other videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, later.
In the pixelated world where the gamers unite, there's a name that shines bright, bringing joy to the night. Steven's killer, he's the king of the screen. With his epic playthroughs, he ranks as a meme. Laughing out loud as we watch him explore. From horror to laughter, we can't help but want more. With a heart full of passion, he shares his delight. Steven's killer, take us on a night.